I need your advice on how to fix a gas oven thermostat.
Make sure you've actually turned it on, turned the gas on and paid the gas bill before you assume there's a technical problem.
I've got gas, but it isn't coming up to temperature or staying at the right temperature.
The bad part about oven thermometers is that they can't be recalibrated. You either replace it or figure out why else it might be malfunctioning.
I can't imagine how else it could malfunction.
If it is covered with grease splatter or caked on sauce, it will read the temperature too low due to the insulating effect. Conversely, if it is reading totally wrong, I can't say your last broil or self-cleaning cycle didn't raise the temperature sensor.
How do you fix that?
Buy oven cleaner and clean it by hand next time. Reset the control board now and hope it works.
I want to know how to fix the temperature sensor for the oven.
If the sensor is broken, you need to replace it. If the wiring is melted to the side of the oven due to your last broiling cycle, you need to replace the wiring and the sensor, and if the wiring is shorted because the wire cover's melted, just replace all of it.
Because if the wiring is partially melted, something else may be about to fail, too.
Yes. You can see if it is the thermostat or something further upstream by turning it on and testing for continuity.
That's a fancy way for resistance.
In some ovens, the pilot flame goes up and warms up the thermocouple bulb, which is triggered by the thermostat. If the pilot flame gets bigger but doesn't then shoot down, you need to replace the pilot assembly.
What if the flame doesn't increase in size when you turn on the thermostat?
The thermostat isn't sending enough gas to the pilot assembly. This could be a problem with the supply tube or the thermostat.
The pilot tube I can check for carbonization, but anything else requires replacing the thermostat and hopefully nothing else. But all of those instructions are for gas ovens with standing pilot flames, and I think mine uses an ignition bar.
Then you need to open up the oven, usually by lifting up the grills or hood, so you can access the thermostat. It is usually in the middle of the control panel for the grills inside of the oven even with the roast.
Now that I think about it, the thermostats for the grills are actually more likely to get coated in grease from splatter and carbonization as it burns away the spilled sauce.
Yes, and if the flames get hotter than they should on the stove top, that may need to be cleaned, too. Once you get to either thermostat, you can remove the unit and the capillary tube it uses to control the gas flow.
The capillary tube I think is what adds more gas when things are too chilly.
Remember to have both gas and power off when you're removing all this stuff. And when you replace the thermostat and tubing, put it all back as it was.
Though ideally, now working.